as your character, Jane, what do you like about yourself?
As Jane's character, I think she's a very strong person and is hidden a lot by her mother because she's very overbearing. I do like how she's driven to keep going.
Do you think the author illustrates a great life with imaginary friends?
Yes, he does. He kind of made the whole cast feel like they wanted an imaginary friend.
Explain your relationship with your mother.
Though there's a lot of tension between them, because her mother is only concerned about her job and her style. And Jane, on the other hand, does not enjoy a lot of style. She feels that she's overweight and doesn't really live up to her mother's expectations. But in the end, and they do love each other.
Hugh's role.
I think Hugh was put in there to just, of course, be that typical jerk and be the conflict between the outcome of the story, the love story.
If the movie had an alternate ending, what do you think would happen?
That Claire, Michael's friend, that seems to be more than that, would be a bigger part and maybe more of a conflict for Jane and Michael in the end.
Do you think your character truly enjoyed her job?
I think she would have enjoyed it much more if her mother wasn't overbearing and forced her to be with somebody that she didn't choose and forced her to choose parts that she didn't think was right for her productions.
Why do you think Jane remembered Michael?
Well, the end of the story is them falling in love and having a family. And so the remembrance of Michael was just to prove that their love may last, and there's a specific reason that she was the only one to remember him.
At one point, did Michael begin to create or exhibit human traits?
After Jane and Michael saw each other again, conflicts within himself began to rise, and he noticed that he could actually cut himself and bleed. And he was starting to be seen by others.
How did Hugh's role influence Michael's relationship or attitude towards you?
Jane, he was exact opposite of what Jane needed. And of course Michael knew that because he grew up with her. He knew everything about her. And I feel like that came into play of what he wanted with her and what he was going to get with her.
In real life, would you take Jane's job or leave it?
If it had the same situation with her mother, I would leave it just as she did. But if I had no other distractions or conflicts, I would certainly take it. It seems like a fun job to produce shows on anything.
If you could change one thing about the story, what would it be?
I felt like Michael shouldn't have left her because he had a mixed understanding of why he was being able to see Jane again. I felt like he should have stayed with her and dealt with the problem differently.
If you had the choice to be any character in the story, who would you choose?
I'd be interested in being her mother, just because it's the exact opposite role.
How do you describe your own character?
My character, Jane, is very ambitious, but not in ways that her mother expects her to be. She finds ambition in love and not in success in jobs.
What was the best part of filming this movie?
figuring out what it'd be like to have an imaginary friend.
As Jane, why did she live under the harsh conditions of her mother?
I felt like she was very intimidated by her mother, and it was hard for her to stand up to her after years of interrogation of being overweight or not stylish enough.
Why do you think it was necessary, or what was the significance behind naming the book and the movie Sundays at Tiffany's?
Most people would say the little things count, and I feel like the cute little trips on Sunday to Tiffany's describes their tradition and how they couldn't let it go and how they ended up doing that with their family.
If you weren't a character but an outside reader, how would you view the story?
I would view it as strange because reading something about imaginary friend falling in love with a real human is kind of crazy, but in the end I think it would be a very nice romantic book to read, and I would recommend it for anyone out there.
Jane, looking back, do you think your character has any regrets?
I really don't think she does. She waits a long time for every decision she makes, and I think with every decision she makes, she has a huge purpose.